by this community was started 2017 by Dr. Mrs. Chidinma. She got a doctorate degree, not just of recent, and I would like us to celebrate her. Please, if you are here, please celebrate Dr. Chidinma on the comment section. I would like to see your reaction. If you are really moving with us, I would like to see your reaction. Yes, Dr. Mrs. Chidinma started this community in Nigeria here. She created Women in GIS Nigeria in July 2017. And Sienna created a community, Women in GIS Ghana. Please, can you please applaud these two wonderful women? They were the one who come together to form African Women in GIS all together. And in 2019, the both of them met on LinkedIn and discussed the reason for creating their communities. Chidinma and Sienna matched their communities to form African Women in GIS. That was in January 2020. The African Women in GIS community was made public on social media. So please, can you give it up for everyone who has made it possible to be here today? Yes, 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 yes. Yes, I'm glad I'm seeing people responding. You're welcome. So our community is growing with about 500 plus members residing in 30 countries, which we are one of these people that are here. And we have our members in Kenya, we have in Ghana, we have in Egypt and in South Africa. So if your country is not mentioned, I hope you would go and tell people about African Women in GIS, and you can create your community and let the admins know about your steps so that we'll join you, we'll support you. So African Women in GIS noted some fundamental problems like African GIS industry and other STEM fields are predominated by men, and there is lack of proper guidance, inadequate curriculum, lack of exposure to African female GIS role models, lack of grassroots GIS benefits and application awareness among students as well as the public, gender career tenacity of some African parents. You know, if you tell some of our parents, this is the course I want to study, they'll be like, oh no, it is for men, it is limited to the male gender. But I'm so glad that we are taking up this step to change the story of how Africans think. I am so happy that we have this mindset. You're changing the trend of how women are outside of the profession, but now we have more women coming in. And I would like you to celebrate yourself for doing that. Please do that, celebrate yourself. Thank you so much. So like the one we have today, it is exclusively for the females to empower us to learn more and to do a lot of things together. It is a new year, and then I believe there are a lot of projects that has been planned together to solve problems in Africa. We are the solution Africa needs. So that is why we are here today. So African Women GIS Mentorship Program, we have the mentees experience. We have our cohorts 1, 2, and 3, even though there are still cohorts coming up by the end of this year. And we have the summary of everything. We have our LinkedIn page, we have our Twitter page. So I'll be dropping the LinkedIn, Twitter page on our community group. So we get to join our community there. And if you have not joined our LinkedIn page, you can check through our community WhatsApp. You see a lot of details there. Thank you so much. We've come to the end of how we talk about more knowledge of African women in GIS, like knowing what we do and who we are, our mission, our vision, our purpose. And I know you've gained more, you have more knowledge about African women in GIS. And if anyone is asking you, who are these people, you will be able to give 1 or 2 answers. Please, can you please put your hands together for everyone here? We have our admins. We have our admins. We have our admins. So let's quickly go to today's program, what brought us together here. So our anchor today, our one of the organizers of this program, I told you from the start of this program that we collaborated with ROOTGIS. They are also a vibrant geospatial community. And then the CEO is Antidius Kawamala. Please pardon me if I'm not pronouncing this name correctly, and I will welcome your correction. And it is he is an accomplished innovator, geospatial enthusiast, critical thinker, team player, strategist, entrepreneur, and technology enthusiast who holds a highly optimistic view about Africa's future. And as you can see, the goal, his mission is matching with the African Women in GIS goals and vision. So, and I would like us to put our hands together with our emojis and everything. Let's just show up and let us welcome Antidius Kwamala to this space, please. I want you to welcome him here. I'm not seeing our emojis at all. Please, want to see you. Want to know we are ready to be here today. Okay. Antidius, you are welcome. The floor is open for you now. Hello.
Please, can anyone please confirm on the chat if my voice is clear?
I can hear you from this end. There's kind of skipping.
Okay. So maybe you can mute off.
All right.
Okay. Then that should be great. Okay, yes. Hello everyone. As introduced, that was a very very elongated kind of introduction. I don't get that most of the time. So my name is Antidius Kamala. I'm based, of course, you get it right. I mean, in the terms of pronouncing my name, I'm based in Tanzania. I'm quite sure you all know where Tanzania is. So first of all, good evening to people who are based maybe in eastern parts. And yes, good evening to people who are also in the western part of Africa. Also, good morning to some of the people who are from maybe from the US or maybe from the Americans and the Latin America. And good evening once again to people who are from the farthest east, from Tanzania, I mean, that is other parts of the globe. So today I will be taking you through the basics of the GIS, of what it is, and how basically you can use the GIS to do some of the stuffs. This is supposed to be one of the real world practical stuffs. And I will not waste much of your time. What I will do is actually share my screen and take you through the basics and stuff. In case you don't understand anything, please make sure you stop me anywhere, and I will be glad to answer your questions. And if you have anything, please maybe you can type in your question, and all of this will be we'll be glad to lead out your questions, or maybe somewhere where you do not understand. So I really appreciate you, the African women in GIS, and I hope after this we are going to have one of the chapter here in Tanzania, basically for the women in GIS. This will be great down here. And yes, so I think I'm not much of the talker. That should be enough from my side. So if allowed, I'm going to share my screen, and you can use any of the data sets that you have. And for the software that we're going to be using today, we'll be using QGIS, Quantum Geographic Information System. So if you're quite conversant with some of the QGIS aspects, that would be great. And if you do not know anything about QGIS, I would be glad to share some or two of the things that you do not know or that we know together. But if you are into the ArcGIS or some other GIS desktop applications, that would be great. I mean, I hope in some other lectures we get to touch base on them, and hopefully we get to understand more and more of the applications as we proceed. Also, in the next sessions, we hope to have some of the visitors coming in. Not myself every day, but we have some of the guys. I've been specializing in some of the areas based on the needs that you want. Could be the hydrology, could be the engineering parts, could be visualizations, could be some other aspects. So whatever you might want to learn, we'll be happy to arrange some of the key specific experts on the area, if they be able to take you through that. So while I'm taking so much of the introduction, I'd like to share my screen, and we can take it through right there. Maybe I hope there is no question on the introduction. So I'm going to share my QGIS.
We have someone raising a hand, Zainab Suleiman.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, you can go on with your question now.
Okay, my name is Zainab from Lagos, Nigeria. The question is, are we starting with the basic training intermediary or is and what are we of the training? Thank you.
Hello, Zainab. Well, I could not get your complete question. Please, maybe you should type on the chat so it will be easier for us to communicate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll do that.
So can you see my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, perfect. So make sure that you have the QGIS running and it is open like mine. when I'm going to open a QGIS, this is what you will see. I mean, you are going to have some of the you're going to see some of the tools on top. If you have some of the projects, they will be down here, and some of the information, some of the news down here, showing the if you don't have the current QGIS version, whatever, you can get it right from there. And on the left hand side, you have some of the tools that we can use every day, day in, day out. And don't worry if your QGIS is not looking like mine. I mean, so slowly we get to populate some of the plugins because QGIS works mostly with the plugins. So these are some of the plugins that we use or that I use every day. But you can always get more tools as much as you want. There is no limit on that. And I'm just making sure that everybody is having their QGIS open. In case you are facing some of the problems, let me know. And we have some of the data sets that we'll be using today. And those are from Nigeria. I just got them from the internet. And please you let me know if the data are not correct because they're from the internet. And yes, so basically how do you start? So how do you start operating with this when you open up? You can come here right on top on the top left corner, you have the new project, or simply you can just click this one, the blank one, double click, and then it will open. And then you have the blank canvas, and then you have the layer panel, and then you have the on the left hand side, you have the tools that we can use, or like the sidebar tools. And then you have these top bar tools, and this is the menu bar. And so this will be like the main section of preparing all your data, analyzing and making some of the analytics that you know. And to finalize your map, to have your maps looking, I mean, to get in the map mail, like getting the title, the legend and stuffs, I will teach you on the other side of the QGIS. So this is supposed to be the basics, and I will make sure I take it as slow as I can, making sure that I'm not leaving anyone behind. So when you start, I mean, I'll teach you how to import your data in QGIS. Let me make sure that everything is all right on my hand. Okay. So if you come here, you have like your main bar and stuff. But how can we add data on QGIS? So the difference between QGIS and ArcMap on this aspect on how people are adding data, ArcMap or ArcGIS or ArcPro, they are very advanced that you don't have to specify the type of the data that you're trying to upload on a QGIS. But in QGIS, you have to specify the type of the data that you want to upload. For instance, if you want to import the raster data, you have to go through the raster data import section. But if you want to import the vector data, you have to go through the vector data import section. Quite the difference from ArcGIS or ArcPro stuffs. You have to go there to the import data, and then you import without specifying the type of the data. So that is the difference between the ArcMap and the QGIS. So on how you can add your data, you come right here on top. You have the Open Data Source Manager. You can simply click Control and L on your keyboard, and then you have this option popping up. Okay, this is my database coming up. So in your side, you not see this. So you have this. So this is the one that I was telling you. You have the vector, raster, mesh data, point cloud, limited and stuff going all the way down. So in QGIS, if you want to add something, make sure that you know the type of the data sets that you want to import. So for instance, I'm going to import the vector format for the for Nigeria administrative boundaries. What I do, I come on the vector section, and then I come on the 3 dots on the explore section, and then I have admin level 0, level 1, level 2, level 3. So I can go to level 1 and simply click add, select all the layers, and then you have to add your data simply. So there we go. We have our data imported to our QGIS. You can zoom in, zoom out. On the left click on your mouse, you can pan and zoom around. And here we have because this is the, so you can move around the way we want. And here, because I just added the grouped format, I mean, we have the line as well as the polygon. So this is the smartest way of how QGIS identifies the data type. So if this is the polygon, and then you have this the line, and also we could have something called the point. If the data could be in a point format, that's in terms of the dots. So I mean, minding you, let me know if I'm going too fast. I can slow down the pace, or else I can just pace. So, that opening, you have to, you can just right click and select it, and then you come here. You can just
Hello, everyone. I guess the network is not really okay for now. Please, let's just be patient and let's wait for Nancy Juice.
Hello, guys. I think I lost you or something. Where are we? Please, if someone can remind me.
Yes, can anyone remind us of where we stop if you are really following?
We stopped where he was explaining how to express the image in point form.
Okay, okay. Nice. Okay, so what I was saying is if we import data to QGIS, you will see that it will show you the data type that you have imported. For instance, this one is the polygon, and then we have the line feature. If it could be the point feature, we could have also the point indicated down here on the layer panel. So that's it. And to see what this data contains, we can see that by going through our attribute table. And I was explaining on how we can open our attribute table. For instance, we can just right click and then come here to open attribute table. And then you will see all the information that is available on that on your data sets. For instance, this one is the country name. This is Nigeria. You have the country code. You have the admin name, admin code, all the way down to shape length and shape area. But these ones, the last two, they can be calculated by using QGIS. You don't have to have them. I mean, we can just ask QGIS to calculate for you the length, for instance, for this, how do you call these ones? The Abia, Adama or something? How do I pronounce this?
It is IP and Adamawa.
Oh, okay, Adamawa, right. So, and in Tanzania, we would call these the regions. I'm not quite sure how you call them. The regions, implying we have you have states. I mean, do you call them states? I'm not sure if how do you call them, states or regions. I know Lagos is the state, no. But how do you call them? Is it states or regions?
Yes, state.
Okay, states. So for instance, this is Lagos states. So you can have the names of the states, the codes, or these are like the different, like the ID number for the codes. I don't know what should this mean, and the shape, the length and area for the states can be calculated directly using QGIS. You don't have to have these ones, but we can leverage them as we go. And that is how you can see what information is available in on your data sets. And we can always change the color if you don't want this color. For instance, African women in GIS, they use the green color. You can just change the color of your data sets. You can come here, you just double click this one. And then down right here, you can change the color of your polygons or whatever. You come here and then you can choose the color that you want. This is green, and then select any of the greens. If you have the hexadecimal codes, you can just paste them right here. If you don't, you can just select manually down here. And then you say, okay, and then apply, okay. Right there you go. Or you can even change the symbology of your data types. For instance, we can use these ones. Down here, you have plenty of them, of the styles. This is no different from ArcMap or whatever. You can just change what or do whatever. So that is simply the basic way on how you can do the data exploration. The first thing when you upload your data, you have to see what your data contains. And that should help you when you, I mean, you can also change the colors of these lines. For instance, I want to have them red. You can have them in red color. Apply, okay. So you can do as much as you want. And just to remind you guys, we will be having some of the quizzes following up after our trainings. We'll be following up with some of the quizzes, and then these will be helping us on how best you guys are following up. In the quizzes will be the ones that will determine if you should receive a certificate or not. I mean, so try to make sure to follow, or if you have a pen and a paper, try to write down the steps. And I'm quite sure the program is being recorded. We should be able to follow once again after the session ends. Okay, coming back to our session. So you can just zoom in, zoom out, change the color. How do you change the color? Just double click on your feature, and then you can just select another color, maybe this one. And then select OK. So there is no limit on that. And then we can see what is available on the line feature. Just you can always uncheck one or two. You can just uncheck. Okay, so basically the outlines of the states. So if I check them out, and you can just check on the attribute table what it contains. So we have the length of the lines. That should be quite clear, because we cannot get the area on the line. That should be correct, you know? So I mean, you can measure how far this line from this point to this point, how long it is, but you cannot get the area because it has 2 points. For you to get the area of any of the feature, it should be a closed thing, should be as the line should be as the circle or the triangle, some kind of a thought, but you cannot get the area of a line or a point because they have only 2 dimensions. I mean, they have 2 points, the starting point and the ending point. And that's it when it comes to do I have a question on that to that point? Maybe I can take you more on how we can do the labeling of the data sets. Because right now we have seen on how we can import our data and change the color of your data.
I saw some questions as you are going on. I would like to read them.
Okay.
Okay, I'll start from the last question. A participant asked that you added the vector data of Nigerian boundaries. You know, when you begin, you told us how you had raster of vector data. Hello, are you with me?
Yes, can you come again?
So this person was saying that how do you add your data? How do you add your data if it is raster data or vector data?
Okay, fine. So I think I'll be taking one and then we go through and then go to the next. question. So I just showed you on how we can add the vector data. I mean, so you come here right on the open source, or else you can just use these tools on the sidebar. This is the vector. If I click here, I mean, it will take me to somewhere where my data is, and then I can add it. But if I want to add the raster data, I come to the raster option, and then I go directly to where my data is. Click here. So, and then I have to find if I have the raster data down here. I'm not quite sure if I have the raster data with me. Okay, but not sure. No, I don't have one. But basically that's how you can do. But let me show you. If you try to add the raster, if you try to add the vector data using the raster data, it should say some error, something, or maybe it's unrecognized format. For instance, this is the vector data, but I'm using the raster import option. And then if I say add, you see it will just say that this is unsupported data source, because why? What I'm trying to import is the vector data, and I'm using the raster option. So for me to import the vector option, I have to come here. I hope that shows the difference. If you have the raster data, you come on the raster option, and come here on the three dots or the browsing option, and then you can find where your raster data is, and then you just open it. So that's how you can add the raster data. So quickly, okay.
And that person asks
Yes.
that how can you change the state, like the color of state? You know, everything has the same color, but the person is asking how you can change the color of state for you for uniqueness.
Oh, okay, perfect. So okay, let me try to move this aside. Okay, so for instance, I want to show, I mean, let me open my attribute table. If I come to my attribute table, these are the names of the states, and I would want maybe to have the Adamawa to have the different color from Abia. Lagos is easy because I've seen it on the movies. So for instance, I want to have Lagos with different color from Kwara. How do I do that? Or maybe we can do that, or else we can just say, how do I give each state a different color? Yes. Sorry, I think we have some of the issues down here. Okay. Let me again share my screen. Paddock project. All of this, are we here? Maybe all of this is not, she's not here. Someone can respond on behalf if you can hear me.
Yes, we're here.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So what I was trying to say, for instance, if you want to show the states with different colors, there is so many ways on how you can do that. But how can you do it? You just need to double click your feature. This maybe is this is my data that I want to have different colors. I need to double click this one. And then I come here on the symbology. I mean, normally it shows like this on the symbology. You have the information, blah, 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 showing where your data set is, the CRS, and everything that you have. And the source where your data is. And then I'll come there on the symbology. Here on the symbology, what you have to do, you come here on the single symbol. And you need to change the single symbol to categorized. And then if you change to categorized, it will ask you the value that you want to input. For instance, I want to, what I want to put in is the administration name. You have to know where your data is the name, because we went through the names. And then after that, I have to click here, classify. You see, it will give me the different colors of different names. And then I have to do here, you can just click apply and then okay. There you go. So you have every state with different color. You can also add on the names to see the names as well as the colors. What you can do, just come here on the labeling part. You remove the no label, you come to single labels, and then we'll just give it administration name 1, and then you apply. Okay. So you see, so you have the names of your states as well as the colors of your states. And down here, you will see that you have different colors. So for instance, we want to have Lagos, a different color from this one that has been selected automatically using the QGIS. What you can do, you come here, you just double click this color, and then you can just change the color of Lagos. For instance, I want it to be gray, and then it's just say okay. So Lagos will become gray. So if you have specific color for a specific region or state, after the classification of your data, you come directly to your what has been selected here, and then you can change the color. For instance, a beer. Just you can change the color right here. For instance, put in black, and then you go. I'm not sure where it is a beer. This one. So that's how you can answer that question on how you can give the colors for different states. How do you do that? Double click your layer, and then you come to the symbology. You'll be on the single labels. You come to categorized, and then on the value, you have to put the names where the column that contains the names that you want to have different colors, and then down there you go. That's it. Any other question? Apart from that, I mean, I've covered also the labeling part and the classification of the color.
All right, thank you so much, Antidius. You can continue so that I won't waste much time. So at the end of the training, we'll take in all questions. Thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to know if there are some other questions, very specific, then maybe we can. can just take it back to where it was, to a single label. Okay. So no more questions? Okay. So, okay. Okay, that's even better. I want to also remove the labels that they don't confuse us at the moment. And then apply okay. So okay, I forgot to put on the outlines. Let me go back here. Simple widget. Come here. Let's see. B stroke with it. Okay. So the stroke color, you can just give it black. Whatever color that you want. There you go. Okay, so this is where we were on the last time before changing the colors and stuffs for everything. And let me know if I have questions apart from here. So yes, today should be the basics on how best you can explore your data and how best you can play around with the data sets that you have. I'm using the data set for Nigeria because I'm not because you guys are from Nigeria. But I know some of the guys are not from Nigeria on this training. But you can use any of the data sets that you have because the same principles apply to any of the data sets that you can have. So I showed you on how you can put on your labels. No. Let me try to go. So that's the essence of going back to the attribute table. If you go to the attribute table, you can always know what your data contains. For instance, I already know that the admin one name, these are the names of the states. And then you can name with whatever the information that you have here. For instance, I want to name with admin code 1. How can you do that? You just double click your layer and then you come to labels and then you remove the no labels. You put in a single label. I will go through the how can use the rule-based or how can do the blocking and the stuffs. So if you come to the single labels, it should pop up some of the options here. And you can always change the font type down here. You can change the font type here, go to whatever font that you want. I don't have any specific, and then you can change from the font type, you can have either bold or regular, for instance, if it could be this not ons. So you have depending on the font type, you can have so many styles. So do not go crazy in case you want a bold or maybe italic, and then you won't find it based on so it depends on the font type that you have selected. For instance, for this one, I have very few styles. I have the regular and the bold one. And then down here, you can choose either to be underline, whatever. And here you have the sizes. And down here, you have the color of how you want your text to appear. These are the very basics. You can always change them. And so maybe red, and then you say, okay. And then you have some, and then you say, apply, okay. You have your names appearing depending on the styles that you selected. And for instance, you have the long names like this one, the Federal Capital Territory. You can always play around. You have some of the other formatting options right like down here. You have the how you can put on the buffer zones, how you can mask. So pretty out of options. You can play around here depending on the style that you want your text to appear on your map. Minding you, this is not the map, but this is just we are trying to put everything together. And after this, you have to go to the other section called the layout, where we can finalize putting the title, legend, and everything in between, instead to for us to have the mapping in maybe in the PDF or in the image format at the end. But this side is where everything is being done, the processing and stuffs. And what else? You can always do that. And for instance, if I don't want all of the states here, for instance, I want only Kaduna. I'm very sorry if I'm mispronouncing the names. For instance, if I want Kaduna and to remain with only Kaduna and then to remove everything that I don't want, how can you do that? We can do that using 3 steps. Okay, we can do that using 3 different ways. I'm going to show you the easiest ones. For instance, I want to select only Kaduna and remain with Kaduna. I can just use the select option, this one. If I know the names, for instance, I have my names labeled. Like here, I can easily find where Kaduna is. And then I come here, I use the selection tool, and then I just select Kaduna. And then after being selected, I come here on my data sets here, right click, export my data, but I'm not saving feature as, but I'm saving the selected feature, which is Kaduna. And I go here, I come here, I can just, the format of the data type that I want to save, you can always select it in the JPEG case, depending on the data set you want. For instance, as a shape file. On the name, you have to select here where you want to save your data set. It should be on the Julia. Just teach you on how best you can label your data sets, and then you have to leave this option checked if you want to view it on the map. If you don't want, you can just uncheck this one. But this we just check, and then we say okay. So we have Kaduna, and then we have the list of the states. Down here we can uncheck the list of the states, and then we remain with Kaduna. And then if you come to the attribute table, we have only the attribute table for Kaduna, this one. And then same as if we have to check the entire. And then we can do the same, changing the colors of the state for Kaduna state. For instance, I give it blue color. Blue color. There you go, Kaduna. So that's it. And then you can do the labeling of Kaduna. The labeling of Kaduna, single labels. Have to put the admin name. Apply, okay. So there you go. So you have Kaduna being labeled and stuff. You can change the styles in everything that you want. So if you have some other information that you have alongside Kaduna, for instance, could be the roads, levers, buildings, whatever information that are in Kaduna, you can just have them put it here. So that's it on how you can select. This is the first option on how you can select a feature. How to deselect, you just need to here deselect, use this option. And that is the first option. The second option on how you can select Kaduna or any of the states, if you don't know the names, you can just go through direct the attribute table. For instance, I want Lagos, this one, I just select this layer, this column. And then if I close this one, I'll find that my Lagos is selected down here. And then I can do the previous way of going and saving Lagos. That is the second option. The third option is, okay, deselect. The third option is going through the, if I want to select more than one, if I want to select more than one, you can do the same. You select one and then hold shift, and then you can just select as many as you want. And then you can deselect them if you want, and then save the selected states. All the same can be done on the attribute table. Select one and then hold shift, and then have to control if you're on the attribute table. It's by yes, and then you come to Edo. Then if you go to the attribute table, come to the map, you find everything has been selected. And the last option is more advanced. Okay. Let us leave out the advanced today. Basics. I'm sticking to the basics, please. Okay, let me leave out some of the questions, all of it on the chat and whatever.
All right. Thank you so much for this time. Yes, there are questions. We have 3 questions as of now. So some questions have been answered as you go on. So we just have 3 questions left. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay, for the first question is this.
Yes.
Someone asked that, can we know the population of each state's temperature variations and other specific areas on the map? You know, you are teaching us on how we design a map, how we import a map into the QGIS interface. So she was asking, can we know the population of each state by doing this same process? And the second question is this. Said the style of exporting a feature and adding to the map, is it the same as geoprocessing and clipping the selected features? Will it retain the information in the extracted shape? Then the third question, are we going to use the same principle if we want to segregate the local governments or the districts? So that's all the questions for now. Thank you.
Okay. That's some. Are we going to start with the first one for the population?
Yes.
Okay. As far as I know, I'm not from Nigeria, but I know we can get some of the data from Nigeria for the population. And everything is data. So if all of this, I mean, what is the what is a responsible organization that collects the population data for you in Nigeria? Is it
We have the Population Commission.
okay, the Population Commission, fine. Whatever the organization could be. So if I open the attribute table here, you see all these informations. These are the only information that I have at the moment. But other information regarding the population and whatever information that comes along with this data, they can be added right here. So I think on the next sessions, we're going to see on how we can integrate some of the external data. For instance, the one that we don't have here for the population, but yes, we can have them. And then I will show you how best you can join them. For instance, you go somewhere on the internet, for instance, on the population, whatever you say, the population organization or population, no, the population table, and then you get the data from there. And then we come and then we create another column here. We call it population data. And then we populate our data sets here, either manually or we can do it systematically use or in the automation wise using the data sets that can be available, and then we just do the automatic joining of the data sets that we have. At the moment, we don't have, but if we could have, yes, we could have displayed them. And for instance, I'm assuming, let's assume that let us assume that maybe this the shape area is our population. So we could have displayed our polygons using the population differences. How could I have done that? We just have to double click and then double click and then we come to symbology. And then instead of categorizing, we go to graduated. Graduated, we have to put in the value. Graduated goes with the numbers. There is no text columns are going to appear here. You see, we have the shape length and shape area. So I'm assuming the shape area is our population column. And then I put here the population column. You can change the color here, or you can leave it, and then you can change the mode. Depending on how your lecturers taught you in class, you should know the difference between equal, interval, fixed interval, logarithmic scale, natural breaks, whatever, all the way down. And then you just need to classify based on the mode that you want, and then to give you that, and then just say okay and apply. So oh, sorry. Sorry. So you will see that it will show the different colors with different levels of numbers. For instance, I'm assuming this is the population. So for instance, these ones, if I check them off, it means they have the population of 0.3 to 0.69. And then these ones, the higher the red color, have the higher population of 2 point whatever to whatever. But you can also change the color. You can also come here and change the colors. If you don't want the red, want the greens, you can change the greens, and then you have to say okay. There are so many menus right here. The zoom and my QGIS. Okay. So you can always change the colors depending on so the issue is today we don't have the population data here, but if we get one, we can just plug in and then play with the data as much as we want. So that's it, depending on the first question for the population. What was the second question?
Okay. The second question. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. The second question is talking about exporting a feature and adding to the map. He said the style of exporting a feature and adding to the map, is it the same as geoprocessing and clipping the selected feature? Will it retain the information on the extracted shape? And the another question is, are we going to use the same principle if we want to segregate the local government? You know, in Nigeria, we have local government areas from the state capital to the state and from the state to the local government. So is this information also the same to if you want to segregate the local government, just like you did to the states? Thank you.
Okay. Okay, fine. So I'm going to okay. The first question, for instance, let me show you. For instance, I have my base map. Let me put on my base map. Okay, this one is my base map. Okay, so this is my base map. Okay. And let me check out this and then remain with the Kaduna. For instance, we have this information that are on the internet. For instance, if we have the very big map of the entire globe, and my connection is unstable. That is, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. So I'm assuming this is Kaduna. We could have used any of the data sets. So this is Kaduna, and then we have lots of data that are not from this, So you have the roads, you have the rivers, you name it, we have the forests and everything. This is the global data. And what we can do, we can use the Kaduna extent to select or to clip the data that is only for Kaduna and leave out for the rest of the entire group. So the same could have gone for the same could have been done for the if, for instance, this is Nigeria for the entire country. We could have selected all the data that is around here behind the country. I mean, all these information regarding the roads, the rivers, and everything in between down here using the clipping option. I mean, that is the those are some of the classes for the lectures that we're going to come into next session. But basically how you can do that, if you have your shapefile or your extent ready for, maybe it could be the country, could be the state, could be the sub-national boundaries, maybe the streets or whatever. And then you can just use that one to creep out of the many data sets that you want. For instance, here, we could have come to vector and then on the geoprocessing tools, and then we clip any of the information that we have here. But before we do that, it means we needed to have our data set that we want. For instance, we needed the extent for Kaduna, or maybe we need the extent for the entire country, or maybe the extent of the entire, maybe maybe this, I don't know, but as long as we have the extent of the entire of any specific area, we can always clip on this entire or the global data sets that we want, and then we get their data sets as much as we want. So that is the first question, I think, was trying to speak on how we can use this data set to clip all the rest of the information. And the second question, yes, the same methodology or the same procedures could be followed for the lowest subnation levels. For instance, if we could have, I think I have some of the information like the admin level 2. Let me try to get them here. Admin level 2, this one, the zipped one. The admin level 2, can just add in the polygons. But that's been added here. So for instance, this is the admin level 2. I mean, yes, this is the admin level 2. We can just do the arrangements properly. Let me put the single labels and then we put on the single outline. Oh, we have so many menus down here today. Okay, let me get it with a different color that I may be able to identify which one is the state, which one is the subnational label. Okay, red. Maybe this is 0.5. Then okay. Then I give it this one. So so we see like this, this is the big, the red ones are the states, and then these ones, the gray ones, I don't know, how do you call them? I don't know. You will help me on that. Let me give them another color. Okay. If I give them the different color. So we have the red ones, for instance, this one is Lagos, and then you have some other subdivisions of Lagos. It could be the streets or whatever. The same methodology should be used. How do you do that? I mean, you have your layer needs to be selected. It's when you can do the selection of your subnational whatever. But if it is not selected like this, it will be only selecting we will only be selecting the one that is selected. So you need to make sure that the data that you want to select or to out is selected like this one, and then you use the selection button. All else, what you can do, if you already have like this one for Kaduna, that we saved area like this one, we may not need to go maybe at this one for Kaduna. Let me show you. Remove the simple field, put on the simple outline that I can see what is happening behind. I need to change the color for Kaduna that we can see. Okay. Okay, that is red. Okay, give it at least a little more bit, a little weight, that it is visible. So I gave it a little bit weight. So this is Kaduna. And then behind Kaduna, we have these subnational levels. You can do either selection of this. You just need to select and then you can do the selection. Either you can do this manually, or apart from that, what you can do, like on the first question, we can use the clipping option because we already have this outline. So we want to select all of these at once without selecting manually. So what we can do, we just go to the vector and then to the geoprocessing tool, and then you come to the clipping options. And then right here is where you can have, we need, for instance, we need the admin 2, we need to select from Kaduna, and then we run. This was supposed to be like the next session. So instead of selecting one by one, we have everything that we wanted for Kaduna using the Kaduna clipping options. So instead of selecting one by one, like this one, selecting one, instead of selecting one, at a time, like this one, So if we already have the boundary for Kaduna, we can always select what is behind Kaduna using the clipping options. That's it for the questions that have been asked, I think. Is everything is everything clear? I hope I haven't
Yes,
lost you guys.
not at all. Thank you so much. So we have another question.
Okay.
So here is the question. You should be the last for this section. It's saying that, please, how can I get the QGIS tool? And which one do you think is easier to use, ArcGIS or QGIS?
That's the very hard question. I mean, that's the hardest question to decide between QGIS and ArcGIS. Oh,
But
here
for
is the
me,
question. QGIS. Okay,
okay, let's have you
please go ahead.
first.
No, I would
Okay.
like to get your perspective. Welcome.
For me, I don't think there is the best option out of it. I think it depends on your purpose of what you want to do. You know, if you want to do something on vegetation, on temperature, I think you can use QGIS because it's an open source and you can incorporate some other web. If you want to create a web map, you can use it there. But for ArcGIS, it is not an open source, so it is limited in some areas, but it has its own form of advantage, like the programming aspect, writing a code for you, some of the things you do on it. It's the paid part, not the cracked version, but the paid version now of ArcGIS make use of, there are some programs incorporated that it is easy when you are using the interface. Unlike QGIS, you would have to make some effort in, doing some programs and all that. So all this, the two depends on what you want to use it for. So that's it. I can't say one is the best, the other is not the best. Thank you.
Yes, that is very great answer. Yeah, I do have both of them running in my machine. I mean the ArcGIS Pro and the QGIS. So I think the best answer goes to the as what Alabe said, the purpose of how we want to, where, and what you want to do. And the second could be the purpose. I mean QGIS is an open source. You can always get, you have so many plugins, you can always interact with many of the external data easily in the QGIS compared to ArcGIS. And for the fact that ArcGIS is the proprietary software, you need to pay for the license, which is kind of expensive for most of the people, and people don't have to pay for that. So, and people have to use the cracked versions. So you cannot use the cracked versions in the corporate world. So, based on the budget, And if you don't have the budget to buy the ArcGIS, you can always opt for QGIS, and you can always do as many stuffs, wonderful stuffs and beautiful stuffs using the QGIS as what you could have been done in the ArcGIS. Plus ArcGIS, I do find it is more easier, more straight, because it has people are putting in money. It's the paid thing, so people are being paid to do something. So that's why you might find the documentation are properly documented, and to do a certain kind of a task, if you stuck somewhere, there is like a manual to follow to achieve your specific task. And it is a very straightforward. The learning curve for ArcGIS is not that big as compared to QGIS. QGIS is being run by a team of volunteers who are not being paid to do this job. So you might find that you are facing a certain kind of a trouble. So you might need to wait for that trouble to be solved by the guy who is maybe in the vacation, the holiday somewhere in Holland or somewhere in the Netherlands or somewhere. And then you have to wait for them. I mean, because it's a voluntary thing. But for ArcGIS, people have to be there, and because they're being paid for that. And yes, for the learning curve, I said that because it's in QGIS, it is that long because you have to do that. And if you are good in programming, you can always have the QGIS installed in your organization, and then you can customize as much as you want to fit your purpose. For instance, you are doing the mining, you can always have the QGIS for mining for your organizations, because it's an open source. You can just clone the whole thing and just have it running on your servers and doing whatever you want to do, as compared to ArcGIS. ArcGIS is the very enterprise product. You cannot do that. So depending on the purpose and what you want to do, where and how, you get to choose in between the journey. But as you're starting, I do advise you to learn both. There is no crime in knowing both. And it is a very hard question to decide which software to use at the moment. That's the very hardest part of my life, to decide which one to use. I do use them both depending on what I'm doing and whom am I working with at the right moment. Yes. Olavis, do we have any question coming up?
No, that's all for now. So if the lecture is still, I think the lecture is still on. So after the lecture, I saw a raised hand, so we'd give people the floor to ask questions.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, I mean, people can always ask questions.
If you want, I think Melville wanted to ask question the other time, so I had to put down the hand. Please, if you would like to ask questions, you can raise your hand. So thank you so much, Auntie Deus. Thank you so much for this section. I know everybody learned a lot. This, for your information, this is a beginner class. So if you are someone who has known all this, don't be surprised, because in another 2 weeks, we have another class then before we get to the intermediates. Because this class is in 3 sections. We have the beginners, the intermediates, and the advanced class. So we are starting from the beginners first, just to carry people along. So I can still mail Seal. Sorry, permit me, or I'm open to correction if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. So you can have the floor now.
Yes, I do have one question.
All right, go on.
Okay, how do you choose futures using attribute table? The third option you mentioned.
That was very fast. I didn't. Can you please?
Okay. You don't get the what I am saying is you mention 3 options to select a future.
Mhm. Yes.
So that's, I think the third option is you go to attribute table, open attribute table, and then
Okay.
yeah, just to know it, just to know it.
So you want to know the third option for selecting?
Yeah.
Okay. I do find that is a little bit hard for the beginners. Maybe we can cover that in the coming slides because it involves some of the people might forget that one. That for the sake of that, maybe I can show you if we can remember that, but I can repeat that in the coming sessions.
Okay.
I mean, I'm assuming maybe we are using the admin one, and are using the selection. So what you can do, just have to open the attribute table for your data sets. And then you come on the selected by expression. This is something very advanced. I mean, it's not advanced, but you can always get here and then come on the field and values, and then you can select the name. So it will show you the names equals to what. You have to say equals to, and then equals to, let's say, Bauchi, and then you say select. So find that voucher has been selected here. So you can just add more options. You can just add more. Just need to do all. Name equals to select features. So you keep. I mean, you can just write this one, or if you already know the syntax, and then you can just you keep writing and writing and writing. This is the very systematic way of selecting. I mean, we get more of this when we get to at least the intermediate class. So now we can play around with the expression. Okay. Are we still there, all of this?
Yes, it is good.
Okay, fine.
Thank you so much for that. And
Can I ask another more? Sorry.
Okay, you have more questions?
How can you add the base map, your base map?
Okay, I think maybe you come late for this section because he explained that from the beginning, how you can add your base map. Hello, Antidius, can you help us with that? Just a summary of how you add your base map. Thank you.
Okay, so how do I add my base map? Okay, there are 2 ways. I mean, you need to have the plugin called the Quick Map service. If you don't have one on your browser section, you have the XY tiles. You should have some of the I think you should have some the browse on the browse section. How do you get, if you don't see the browse section, you can always come on the view, and then you come to the panels here, paddles, and then you can see you come here, it's list that you have here, and then you go right away. You select one, maybe open OSM or the Google Map or whatever, and then you can just proceed. So you should have either on the browser, on the XY tiles, or have the quick map service. I'm going to teach you how you can install or how we can install the plugins on our QGIS when we get to that. I mean, for on the next lectures or stuff. Okay, hola peace.
Okay, is that all we have for today? Is that the end of the lecture?
I think this is for
Okay, thank you so much. So for those that are still here with us, can you just drop one or two things you've learned today as a beginner? I know the beginner section consists of two participants, those that they've left the software for long and they do not remember how to go about it, and those that actually are just beginning. They don't know anything about ArcGIS, they've just been hearing it, and they already know, they have the idea, the knowledge of the application, but the practical knowledge of it, they do not. So if you've learned one or two things for today's lecture, can you just put it in the comment section? I want to see if you learned something today. Yes, yes, yes. I'm yet to see any comments. What are the things you've learned today? Okay. Stephanie said, I learned the difference between ArcGIS and QGIS. Yes. There are lots more. I see someone wrote that it depends on the states. Some European continents are using QGIS, while the US use ArcGIS, and they permit the use of the softwares in their schools. So there are a lot of things to learn. This is just the beginning. Let me just tell you that. Yes. Okay, Stephanie again, she said also where to put vector data and raster data. Yes, you're right. Many people think it is just the same way you put your vector, that is how you input your raster. I get it now. Okay, Shite says that, pardon me for not mentioning the name correctly, said it's my first time learning about GIS. I'm not at the same level. I just need to practice more. Yes. There'll be a playback of the recorded section. It will be available on our YouTube channel. We have our YouTube channel. So we drop it for all the participants here. It will be sent to your mails so that you will access it. So you'll be able to join, you'll be able to practice for the next 2 weeks. The other class is coming up for the next 2 weeks. And I believe our tutor is going to give us an assignment that will make practice easy for the next 2 weeks. Okay. Someone said also how to color the map and specific area that I want. The truth about QGIS, ArcGIS, using GIS is constant practice. If you don't practice constantly, you can easily forget. It's just like the use of your softwares, your app, the apps on your phone. You know, when it's so long you've visited the app, it's kind of difficult to navigate. But if you visit it constantly, maybe you dedicate 1 hour of your 24 hours to practicing, it will help you in developing yourself. Even more than the teacher has gone, you would even be eager to learn more. So I really appreciate everyone for joining. Thank you so much for waiting to this time. And I will especially thank our tutor, Auntie Deuce, for this moment. Thank you for giving us this eye-opening section about QGIS, ArcGIS, the tools, how we add in the plugins, and how we input our shapefile into the interface, the vector data, then go to the attribute table to change the colors, and so on and so forth, and then checking our admin 1, admin 2, admin 3, which is for the state, local, and for the capital. Thank you so much for all this. So do you have an assignment for us? Auntie Deuce, are you still there? Do we have assignment for today?
Yes, we okay. Yes, I did share I did share the link for the guys to get QGIS in case they want to download one. And they can always download using, it is free. They can always download from using that link I shared on the chat. I mean, you can always revisit on how you can get the QGIS. Basically, so today what people can go up and practice more is on how best they can select more than one could be the states or the districts or the regions, and then display all of them together with different colors. Also try to label them with different colors. I mean, if you're trying to label maybe Nigeria, Ghana, and whatever, Tanzania, I mean, those three nations could have different colors and maybe, yes, some different styles. I mean, that's at least someone will go through all the processes, I mean, through the selection, clipping, plus styling the different layers. Yes. That's what I think what people can do for today.
All right. Thank you so much. I hope we all got the assignment. So we should practice on how we can select the district, that's the state, the local government, maybe the region. Maybe you use region in your own country. You can just practice 3 countries in the West Africa or wherever you are. So we have 16 countries in the West Africa. So you can decide to choose any 3 of them and practice on them using different colors to design the sections, the regions. So our next class will be on 8th of March, because this class will be holding every 2 weeks so that people will have the time to sink in what they learn and practice so that won't rush us just like that. So thank you so much for this section once again. And I appreciate you for joining. You've really done good to yourself. And I know that this 2025 is for growth. I know that I will see beautiful faces again telling me, oh, thank you. I am able to make use and implement these things, this knowledge I'm gaining, and I'm able to teach another person. All right. Thank you so much, ROOTGIS. Thank you for this beautiful collaboration. Our next class will be on 8th of March. Please mark your calendar. The next class will be on 8th of March. And don't forget to practice your assignment. Thank you so much, everyone. So someone is still raising the hand. Okay, we want to round off. We don't want to take much time. It's 2 hours, then we have 3 minutes left. So Shishite, what do you have to say? What do you have to say? You have your hand raised. What do you have to say? Hi, Shishite.
Yes. So my humble request from you, leader,
Hello, can
you
you come
create
again?
for us the WhatsApp group so that if you have any question concerning the It's from there.
Okay. Actually, the program is exclusively for females. So we forgot to add that to our flyer. That is why we allow the males to join in for today. So if we'll be creating a WhatsApp group, I don't think that would be possible. But if you have any question, you can visit the African Women in GIS LinkedIn profile. You can send us a message through our profile. So we'll be able to answer your questions. Thank you so much. Yes, Shisha, it's your hand is still raised. Do you still have any other question? Hello? Okay, in the absence of none, thank you so much for this time. Thank you so much for joining. Do have a wonderful weekend, and don't forget to practice your assignments. And our next class will be on 8th of March. See you 8th of March. Thank you so much. Thank you, African Women in GIS, for this opportunity. And I know every participant is grateful. So do have a nice weekend. Bye. Bye, everyone. We've come to the end of today's section. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
Olabisi. Thank you so much for everything.
You're welcome.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.